as you are able and do this. I'm just sort of swinging my arms open and closed a little bit. I just want to get some easy movement going. Feel free to start some music now or at any point. I put a playlist in the chat, which I know nothing about. It's Hannah number 11. It's the 11th today, so I thought this is meant to be. Let's add a little step touch to this if we can. See how that treats your brain. Step touch, open, close with the arms. Ah, yeah, feeling good. Today we have some fun glute work stuff. We're gonna try to set our butts on fire with some movement. And then we have a fun AMRAP to finish it out. All right, let's set our feet down and just take our arms forward and back. Again, thinking about stretching up nice and tall. It's tempting on that back swing to allow the back to do some weird things. We want to keep things pretty stable, a little bit tight through the glutes, a little bit tight through the front. Otherwise, just sort of allow the shoulders to release and relax, getting ourselves pumped up physically and mentally for this workout. And then we're going to bring our arms straight out and just do some of those wrist rolls, add that step touch back in. To start some music for myself, because otherwise it just feels like a void that I'm speaking into with music in the background. It's somewhat less of that feeling. There are 9 people in the meeting right now, which is the perfect number of people to have laid out on my big screen here. Really nice. Switch directions with the wrists. All right, we're going to get into our warm-up. It's not timed intervals this time. It's just a series of movements. So we're going to take it really slow on the way the first time through. If you end up doing more or less of these movements than I show, that's great. That's great. Do these at your own pace if you like. Follow along with me. It's going to be 10 of each, but if you want to do fewer or more, that's fine. We're going to start with 10 air squats. So we're going to get our feet in a nice squatting position. We're going to do each of these 3 times, maybe shoulder width-ish, toes pointed forward or turned out just slightly. We're going to start by stretching them nice and tall, letting the shoulders melt down the back. Front of the body comes on, glutes are a little bit tight at the top, and then we're going to reach back with our hips without losing that tightness in the front. Let's just squeeze back up to neutral and just make sure we're reaching back with the hips as opposed to arching through the low back. So it can be tempting when we start our squat to find stability by just cranking some movement into the low back, but we really want to keep this tight and just reach back so that we're hinging at the hips as we reach back, like there's a stool or something we're trying to touch with our butt. Squeeze back up, and then let's actually squat here. I just like to give some of that cueing every once in a while. So reaching back with the hips, and then our knees are going to press out just slightly, trying to keep balance, big toe, little toe, and heel, and then just squeeze up. I'm just going to do a couple nice and slow, as if you're pulling yourself down into the bottom of your squat, and then squeezing back up, allowing the depth of your squat to build slowly, picking up the pace a little bit here if we like, still thinking about gently pulling ourselves down into the bottom of the squat. We'll do these faster at some point, don't worry. And last one here, squeezing down and coming back up. We're going to get into a B stance, which is, we're going to start from about hip width, and we're just going to step back so our toe is in line with our heel. So we're just slightly staggered. And we're going to do some good mornings in this position. So we're still going to reach back with the hips, and our knees are going to press out just slightly. So in this B stance, it's really easy to have that back knee kind of collapse in. So as we reach back with the hips, still pressing the knees out slightly, and then we're just going to take this to that deepest good morning that we can again, going for the feeling of kind of squeezing ourselves towards the bottom. So do a few of these nice and slow, really allowing some time in that deepest position. moving towards a slightly deeper position, and then squeeze up. So from the side, it's going to look very similar to our squat start, and then we're reaching back with the hips. Knees are pressing out slightly. Sort of the natural anatomical thing for your knees to do when we allow them to bend, and we're bending at the hips is collapse in, arches collapse in. So we actually want to work against that a little bit. A couple more here.
Do you want to keep your knees fairly locked, or do you want to have a bend in your knees?
I like to say bent a little bit. So that's where if I'm reaching back with my hips, then I sort of activate my knees with that little bit of pressure out as I bend them. That just tends to transfer a little bit better to other things that we might do. If my legs are locked, that's not going to transfer this hip hinge into other things I might want to do as well. It's not wrong though, unless you have like hypermobile knees and it's actually like pushing into your joint in a way that feels uncomfortable. Otherwise, I always say just like activating the knees with that slight bend and that little bit of pressure out to kind of give them a nice place to go. All right.
Thank you.
Stand that all the way up. Yeah, good question. And then we're going to do this on the other side for 10 as well. So again, tight through the glutes, tight in the front, reaching back with the hips, and then allowing the knees to press out just slightly as they bend. Nice and slow on the first couple of these. Allowing yourself to be pulled a little bit deeper. We're going for that neutral spine. It's not always bad to round through the back, but in these, we're trying to cue as much hip hinge as we can while keeping the back lengthened, organized, and supported. Nice, looking good. And one more here. We're going to go down to hands and knees for some donkey kicks. So this is our tabletop position where we're going to be doing these from. If you needed to be a little bit more supported and not on your knees, you could do these from like a supported position here. It would be just reaching that heel up towards the ceiling. We do 10 of these on one side. We don't have to go quite as slow on these. We're trying to squeeze that heel up, but we're also trying to maintain the tension through the center of the body so that our back doesn't arch down towards the floor. So think first about drawing the navel in, remaining a flat feeling through your back. Your back is not actually supposed to be flat, but we're trying to keep it still. So stretching long from the tailbone out through the top of the head, and then just trying to hold that position as you squeeze that heel up towards the ceiling. All right, there's 10 on one side, and we're gonna do 10 on the other side. I'm actually not counting. I'm just going on pure instinct because I'm trying to talk and I forgot to use my little hand counting method. But I think I'm getting pretty close here. Nice, looking good. Last one on this side for me. Now we're going to come back up and let's do that twice again. We'll speed it up a little bit here. Continue to work at the pace that feels best for you. Continue to take some time in the bottom of these first two movements. 10 squats, down, up. Allowing yourself to be feeling like you're pulling yourself into the bottom of your squat still. We don't have weights in our hands or on our backs. We don't have any impetus to move quickly. So quality and really feeling that full range of motion and going for as much control as we can here as we warm up our squat. That is 10 for me, getting into our first of the B stance RDLs. So hip width, stepping back, 1 foot length. You can kind of do whatever you want with your hands. Reaching back with the hips, knees press out slightly, hinging all the way down, squeezing back up. Again, continue to allow yourself to get deeper into this motion as the muscles in the backs of your legs warm up and lengthen. Nice, looking good. Squeeze up tall at the top, allowing the shoulder blades to kind of melt down the back I'm gonna try to keep the shoulder blades in that position all the way through. It can be tempting or sort of natural feeling for the shoulders to sort of shrug down under gravity. Nice, good work everybody, looking good. This is the last one on this side for me. Squeezing up, and then other side stance, same thing. Squeeze back, activate the knees, pressing them out just slightly to give them a place to go. Otherwise, our knees are lost. If we're not there to guide our knees, they're just lost. They just wander around doing whatever the heck they want, allowing our arches to collapse. We want to give them, we want to have some intention about what we're asking them to do. Nice. The last one here for me. And again, donkey kicks can be done from slightly elevated or from the floor. Either way, we're going for nice, tight midsection, back staying still. It's easy to get a little bit more range of motion and arch into that back. All right, but we're not really trying to do that. It's almost like we're holding a plank position with the navel drawn up and trying not to leave that position. Switching to the other side for myself. Nice. Most of you have disappeared to me except for your heels coming up every once in a while looking good. Some of you I can see are doing a great job here of keeping your spines nice and neutral through that squeeze. All right, my friends, speed round. If you are feeling warm to these movements, pick it up a little bit. I'm going to do 10 about as fast as I can, but feel free to do these at the pace that feels right to you into our squats. Still working on quality, still working on expanding our range of motion, but just a little bit faster here. As an option, V stance, RDLs, side one. It's hard to do a really fast RDL, or a good morning, I should say. Or good morning, as I should say. Good morning to you. Nice, looking good, everybody. I'm moving on to the other side for myself here. Resetting at the top. Trying to have that same series of activations and intentions, even though I'm moving a little bit faster. Nice, looking good. Last one here for me. Getting right into those donkey kicks. Stretching long, tailbone up to the top of the head. Middle nice and strong. Squeezing up without losing that spinal position is my goal. Yes, other side here for me. Nice, there's 10, all right. Finish what you started as you need. We are gonna get right into our strength portion, which is glute focused. So we're going to do 1 minute of 4 different exercises. I'm going to cue these in the first round. We're going to do 3 total rounds, but we're going to jump right into it. If you have something that you can use like a bench or a box or a stack of books against the wall or something, we have the option to do some things on the wall, some things elevated. This is the 2 things that we're going to do like that. One is an elevated glute bridge, which is a lot of range of motion on the neck, actually. It's not that much more, it's like a little bit more range of motion through the hips. You can't really get that much more of like a glute squeeze. And if you have something super tall, it's gonna feel awkward. So that's just completely optional, a way to sort of make this feel a little bit different than our usual bridge. The other is going to be up a wall with a single leg. So I just have my one foot on the wall and I'm just squeezing up single leg. Boop. Both of those can be done completely on the floor. So I'll show them both ways just so we have options. So grab something if you need something. I'm going to talk more about those movements as we go into them. Key thing when we're trying to work our glutes, we're trying to get neutral through the hip. Our hip flexors are constantly working against us. They hate us. They hate our spine and our pelvis. They don't really. They love us. They work hard for us. But then they work hard for us, and then we put them like this for 8 hours or whatever. So they get tight. So it's tempting to allow this to happen even while we're doing our glute movements, to take a little of that tension out of the hip flexor. So we really want to make sure we're tight through the midsection, tight here, and then we're doing as much range of motion in the hips as we can without necessarily going so far that we force ourselves into that arched spinal position. Something to think about for all of these. All right. We are going to start with that elevated glute bridge for a minute. Again, if you have something to elevate on, great. If you don't, also great. Getting tight through the front of the body first, and then squeezing up, trying to get towards that neutral hips, but not holding ourselves to that if that causes weird things to happen in our neck or in our low back. Again, these can very easily be done on the floor with your feet on the floor. And there's really, most of the really glute focused work here happens in those last couple inches when we can get that big squeeze, squeezing everything in towards the navel and squeezing at the glutes at the same time to really make that whole low back pelvis complex super duper solid. All right, 15 seconds are remaining here. Keep that going. Finding the squeeze, nice pause on the top neck. And we're gonna flip over and do some donkey kicks. We've been here, stretching long tail and up to the top of the head. There are no breaks in this series, but make these transitions longer or shorter as you need. Again, these can be done with hands on something so that your knees are not on the floor. We're gonna switch halfway through the minute here. Again, main thing is not how high your heel can go, it's how tight can you be through the middle of your body. Other side in 3, 2, 1. Actually, to make this harder, we would limit the range of motion a little bit and do some pulses here at the top. That could be a fun way to add a little fuel to the fire, so to speak, in causing your glutes to become a conflagration. Is that the right word? I don't know. All right, we are going to put our one foot up on something if we want to. That could be the wall in 2. 1, we're going to go single leg glute bridge. If you have something that's not a wall but is elevated, you could do a single leg elevated that way. Again, we're trying to get the glutes towards a full lock. You can also do this on the floor. I like to do the leg crossed variation. Otherwise, I feel like this does put a big strain on the low back. Other side in 3, 2, 1. And we're going to be standing up rapidly in 20 seconds for a hip hinge to squat. And then we'll take a minute rest. This single leg glute bridge, I feel like it's the easiest one. Go ahead, stand on up to allow the low back to sort of arch and take over. So we're doing that good morning, and then we're lowering from the bottom of that good morning into a squat, and then we're standing all the way up from there. So reaching back with the hips, Knees pressing up slightly, then lowering into our squat, standing right up out of the squat. Just keep that going for 40 seconds here. Again, trying to keep the spine nice and organized, stretch up tall at the top every single time. Front of the body stays on. Working through as much range of motion in that good morning as you can. I believe this is also known as a Kang squat. I think I've heard Hannah call this something like a Kang squat, K-A-N-G. 3, 2, 1, break. Yes, a little bit of smoldering happening there. Questions on any of those movements? Is my question for you. Again, elevation is totally optional. The single leg option is totally optional. You could just do 2 sets of glute bridges.
How to combat like the lower back wanting to do its thing? Do you try to like keep your tailbone tucked in a little bit? Is that kind of what we're going for? Okay.
Yes. I think the thing that I would encourage most of the time is like if we're starting in this position, really thinking about like getting braced through here first. So that you can accomplish that through a tailbone tuck. That can absolutely happen. But taking a breath in and then exhaling and really drawing everything towards the navel and squeezing down, and just consciously doing that first is a good way to sort of make that happen. Elevated bridges in 2, 1, go for it. Yeah, it can be a fake it till you make it kind of thing, where it's like I have the intention of really holding that still, but it kind of comes and goes. But yeah, that feeling of like that Pilates pelvic tilt or tucking the tailbone first will absolutely help to turn those same muscles on. We're halfway here. Again, elevated as an option. Donkey kicks in 15 here. Four, 3, 2, 1. Donkey kick, stretch long first, then squeeze. Yeah, and even in this position, we can kind of think about that tailbone tucking under. That's going to help us get to a slight flexion of the spine in that direction. That will limit that range of motion a bit, which is okay. We're still able to really work the glutes, even if we're not going that extra inch by allowing, other side, by allowing the pelvis to tilt. Nice, everyone looking good. Nice, Nick, good extension, looking strong. Nice, Sarah, nice and still. Good range of motion. Getting into that single leg glute bridge elevated option here in 3, 2, 1. Yes. Can definitely feel this one getting toasty. Other side in 2, 1, other side. Nice, good use of the options, everyone. Standing up in 10, that Kang squat. 3, 2, 1. Good morning into full depth squat. Coming right up out of that squat. Nice, nice, Juliet. Good sequencing. Nice, strong, organized spine, looking good. Nice, Sarah, good range of motion. Looking strong. Halfway. Nice, Aaron, good control of the neck and alignment on that. Good morning. Nice, Emily, nice control, nice smooth movement. Slow, smooth, strong. 3, 2, 1. Yes. Yes. Nice, good bonus movement, Jen. Get some extra credit. All right. We are gonna do some sit-ups, walking lunges, and snatches, along with some jumps. If you wanted to do some calf raises here, that'd be a good thing to warm up just a little bit before our last round. You could also spend some time in a little bit of a lunge. I'll give you a moment to sort of warm that up too before we get into that workout. All right, last round here in 15 seconds. Starting with that elevated or not elevated glute bridge. In 4, 3, 2, 1, go for it. Nice. Nice, Emily, really strong, controlled movement. Control through the whole range of motion. That's a really great goal. Sometimes we get into just the start position and the end position and getting between those as fast as possible, especially for our core stuff. We want to take our time all the way through the range of motion and just live in that for a little bit. Donkey kicks in 15. 4, 3, 2, 1, into donkey kicks, lengthen first, squeeze. Nice, Kira, looking good. Nice strong shoulder position, looking strong. Nice, Nick, good. Range of motion, nice control through the midsection. Nice, Mark, really strong, smooth motion. Taking your time through that range of motion. There's halfway, other side. Nice, Sarah, good pace, good range of motion. Looking strong. Single leg bridge, up the wall option coming up in 10. 4, 3, 2, 1, single leg. Or double leg, you get to decide. Other side in 2, 1, other side. Coming up in 10 seconds here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here it is, last movement. Good morning. Into the squat. Looking strong, everybody. Finish strong here. Nice, good range of motion, good control. Halfway. Looking good. We might feel this one tomorrow. 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Take a pause. Celebrate with a swig of water. Aha. All right. We have limited time before the end of class. So we're going to do a 12-minute AMRAP. I would encourage you to start warming up with some foot motion, calf raises, stuff like that. And then also some time in lunges of various sorts, just to get those toes warmed up in the back and that hip a little bit open through the front. So play around with that. We have some options here for the workout. We're going to start with a minute of jumping. If you have a jump rope and a ceiling that will accommodate a jump roping sort of thing, great. If you don't have that, we have some other options. We can do just some calf raises. It's great. I like to say touch your big toes together and try to keep them that way. Again, we just want to give our lower body some places to go and be intentional about it. If you can do some single hops, great. If you can string a few single hops together, great. If you're trying to do some jump rope training and you want to do the taps on the legs to help with that timing, or the double tap to help with those double unders, great. Any of those are great, and we're doing it for a minute. If you can just barely see this clock, don't worry about it. You could count to 60. You could do it for as long as you feel like you want to, and then move on. So once we do our minute of jump rope, we're going to do 10 snatches. You get to decide what you're going to do your snatches with. If you have a sandbag, it's going to look something like this. You're going to pick that thing up and get it overhead. You got to sort of manage that flip at the top. We do not have to do a full squat snatch, so you don't have to be like, yeah, especially if you have a single dumbbell or something. That's not going to feel very great. So just a power snatch and a hang power snatch. But if you want to, get that thing all the way down to the floor every single time and muscle or power snatch it, great. If you have a single dumbbell like I do here, you can alternate and do 5 on one side, 5 on the other, or alternate each one. And if you have a kettlebell, feel free to do swing snatches. If it feels good to you to do a swing snatch, great. Do 5 on one side, switch 5 on the other. I think I've seen most of you do something like that. If you are like, what is a snatch? Don't worry about it. Thinking about taking whatever you have, if it's a dumbbell, can be fairly light so that you can be in full control of it, and getting it from about this position to an overhead position. And you can do that as fast or slow as you want. Ideally, we're catching with the legs and we're driving with the legs, and we're keeping that close to the body. If you're just really new to this, you can just have your imaginary dumbbell and you're pulling that thing up and then getting down. So you're kind of doing a little bit of like a sumo squat into a single arm overhead, and you do the same thing with the other hand, or you could do like a frog hop kind of a thing where you're doing it with both hands the whole time. Those are all great options. Then we're gonna do 20 walking lunges. I know most of us don't have room to walk around like that. So you could do stepping forward or stepping back, alternating lunges. Weights are an option and sort of encouraged for this. So if you have a single weight, you could hold it goblet style. If you have 2 weights, you could hold suitcase style. If you have a sandbag, you could sling it over your shoulders. All of those are great. And we're doing 30 sit-ups. 30 sit-ups is an awful lot of sit-ups. If you do not have an ab mat, going from that full shoulder blades on the floor to touching the heels might not feel that great. So you can get some padding. You can also do crunches here. So both of those are good options. We're going to finish with a minute of touchdown jacks. Let's do these together. We're in that wide stance, and you could always sub these in for that snatch as well and double down on these. So we're going to reach towards the area between our feet and then stand up. So arms wide, feet wide, reach between the feet, stand up. But Coach Garrett, you say, I'm not doing a jack of any sort. That's okay. This is your touchdown jack for today if that feels good. You want more, you're gonna hop in at the top. Hop out, touch, hop in. Hop out, touch, hop in. Speeding that up is gonna look something like this. And we're doing a minute of that. So it doesn't matter how fast you do it, you're going for roughly a minute. Again, if you can see the timer, great. If you can't, do what feels like a minute. This is an unscored workout. So let me say that again. It's in the chat too if you need to come back to it. 1 minute of jump rope, 10 snatches, 20 walking lunges, 30 sit-ups. So 10, 20, 30 is the progression there. Snatch, walking lunge, sit-up, and then a minute of touchdown jacks. So a minute at the start, minute at the end, turns into 2 minutes in the middle for all successive rounds. Questions before we launch? All right, I'll keep an eye on you, especially with those snatches. If I have things to tell you, I will say them. Otherwise, do what feels right. Sub out anything you need to, especially like those sit-ups and the snatches. Maybe you need something totally different. That's great. All right, y'all ready? Turn your music up a little bit if you have it going. 12 minutes, starts in 10. With a minute of jump rope or jump rope substitution in 3, 2, 1, go for it. I'll do some calf raises myself, make sure those suckers are nice and warm before I bounce around on them too much. It's a minute, so I can cue you on this one. After this minute, we're just gonna be all over the place. Take breaks as you need to. 12 minutes is a long time to do anything. Trying to see, is that actually the time? Yes, it is. We're doing great. Wonderful. 10 seconds here. Yeah, burning. 10 snatches. However you want to approach those is up to you. 5 on one side, 5 on the other. Nice, power from the legs. Snapping into that top position. "20 lunges, stepping forward, stepping back. Weights are optional here. If a full depth lunge is not available to you, you could also do some split squats here. So you don't have to be stepping forward or stepping back, and you can just kind of hang out in one position for 10, switching for 10 on the other side. Especially if you have knee stuff, your knees are kind of diving in or getting a little sore. That split squat can take some of the guesswork out of it. Nice. Into 30 sit-ups or crunches. The ab mat can make a big difference between sit-ups feeling doable and fun and sit-ups feeling just horrible. Getting some arm momentum going is great. Otherwise, crunches are going to be great here. And that same feeling of squeezing down with the low back first. And then the upper body just gets to wherever the upper body gets to. 30 is a lot. This is going to start to feel like a sit-up workout. Nice, good use of the options, everyone. Looking strong. Nice. Nice and complete on those sit-ups. All right, touchdown jacks for a minute. Take a look at the timer when you finish those sit-ups. Remember, it's a reach to the center and up, alternating which hand goes down. Hop in, hop out, only if that feels great to you. That amount of hopping can be a lot. Can be a lot for your sleeping housemates. Basement dwellers have a bit of an advantage in that respect. And you can speed these up even with no hop. Just a speedy touchdown can be a great way to add some intensity. All right, that was about a minute from when the first of us started those touchdown jacks. That's one round down in about 5 minutes. We could maybe do 1.5 more of those. Keep it going. Do what you got. Right back into that minute of jump. Or calf raise. Woo. Spicy. Spicy in the calves. Nice, everyone, looking good. Getting back into your snatches as you finish. If you're still in round one, you're in a great place. You're in a great place. Woo. Nice, everybody. Good. I'm seeing everybody at different places in the workout. We have 4 minutes left. Stay strong. In the last third of the workout here. Should not be super hard to work super hard here. Nice, Julia, good pace. See an eagerness and hunger in the workout. Nice, everybody, nice, Nick. Way to go. Those sit-ups are so brutal. At the beginning of my 30 there, I thought, gosh, have sit-ups gotten easier? By the end of the 30, I was like, oh, nope, they're still super hard. Nice, Sarah. Nice, strong movement. Nice, Emily. Good pace. Pushing it a little bit. Oh. Nice, everybody. Really good use of the options. Good control. Thanks, Marit. Sorry we ran a little bit late. Have a good day. Two minutes here, friends. Finish strong. Nice. Nice, Emily. Nice hops. Nice, Aaron. Good control. Dedication to those calf raises. Last minute here. What do you have left for these movements? Almost there, 30 seconds. Twenty seconds. Last 10. You got to finish strong here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes. 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 Yes.